Alright, we have begun to stream. The audio for the game seems to be sitting at where I need it to want it to be. Bit rates in good health. Waiting for Twitch to showcase on my computer that we are live, and we are. Excellent. Time for introductions. Hey everyone, I'm grekaosangel, and welcome to my Let's Stream of the Legend of Dragoon. This is a JRPG released in 2000, developed by Sony in-house. So that's Sony Computer Entertainment. For some reason, I always want to include this game with Squaresoft's titles from the PlayStation 1 era, even though that's not who developed it. And actually, the more you kind of start breaking down this game, you kind of realize where you can tell that Sony just kind of created what they could with what technology they had available. But that's neither here nor there. So let's actually go over a few beginning stuff. So for those of you who are watching this on YouTube, it's going to be a few minutes. You'll probably want to jump ahead. I'll probably put some sort of time code in so we can, if you don't want to listen to all this sort of technical babble and stuff, you can go ahead and skip it. Few issues I had when attempting to do this stream the first time. Let's get the whole thing going. Wait for Open Broadcast software to do its little hiccup thing when I switch to my Elgato. And hopefully we don't lose connection. It'll say 1 moment. You might be wondering what's with the... Oh, there we go. Just wait for that to show up on Twitch. Make sure we're good. Alright, yep. Black bars look decent. That's the main issue. The reason I'm actually restarting this whole process is due to these damn black bars. The first time I streamed this game, what I'm currently doing right now is we've got my PlayStation 3 attached to the Elgato. We've got Legend of Dragoon from the PlayStation Network. We currently have screen mode, full screen, smoothing on. This is ideally the best setup you can have, unless you're probably using some sort of emulator on your computer, but I'm not going to do that. The problem that the Legend of Dragoon presents is the ridiculousness of how the screens, and not every screen, specific screens, are centered more specifically on the screen that you're watching. And I know that that's a lot of running in circles with my thoughts, but ideally it all comes down to these stupid black bars. So let me show you. If I go ahead and take care of what I've had to do, you won't notice the left black bar because that's set exactly how it should be. But you notice that by removing the right bar, I've artificially added black bars. And you can see how much we're actually going to be cutting out as a result of this. If this bar was not there, we'll have instances on certain screens where the black bars are inconsistent with the width. So the black bar will stay the correct size on the left-hand side of the screen, but the right has that really narrow, kind of irritating black bar that really you might as well not even have it. So to correct this, I've gone ahead and added identical black bars on both sides just to permanently affix them throughout the entire thing. Now what I could attempt to do is crop everything so that we get the entire picture to be mock full screened and kind of force it into a widescreen sort of display. I don't like doing that. I think we're ruining in some degree the top and bottom of what we should be looking at, and it's a pain in the ass. So we're not doing that. I don't believe we're going to miss out on anything just by that little smidgen of black bar we've added, but that's about the best case scenario that we can work with. So, with that in mind, let me go ahead and say that at this point, for those of you who have skipped ahead through the YouTube timed skip jump, done talking a lot of techno babble, getting all this sort of finessing around with the stream ready to go, so we're ready to start a brand new game of The Legend of Dragoon. Now I'm going to go ahead and shut up for this first FMV. I will come right back as soon as it is over.
Great Commander, this way.
So, this is her. Indeed. Put her in custody. Is this really necessary?
It is His Majesty, Emperor Dole's command to take that girl into custody.
Who is she?
That is not your concern.
Alright, one of the first things to note about the Legend of Dragoon, we have no ability to control the default speed at which the text dialogue appears on screen. Because of this, even though we can fast forward to get all of the text dialogue in the box to show up, Chapter 1, 30 in War, each disc has its own chapter, so there's only 4 chapters to the entire plot, but everything is encompassed in the one chapter on each of the discs. So what I'm going to try to do is try to hurry through the dialogue to get it all on screen, give you guys a few seconds to read it. Pretty much once I've read it once or twice, I'm just going to go ahead and skip to the next dialogue. If I'm going too quick, for those of you in the stream, I'm sorry. For those who are watching this on YouTube, you can always pause the video if you want to get the full story experience from this game. But anyways, let's kind of get this all started with our main character here, Dart. I believe if you've, I don't know, I don't own the PS Vita PlayStation All-Stars kind of fighting game, but I believe Dart was a DLC character or planned DLC character. And it may not be apparent right off the bat as to why this game has such a die-hard fan base and why it's kind of become a cult classic in its own right, despite some of its odd choices for some of the gameplay mechanics and such. But really, if there's a game that really needs some sort of remastering or some sort of remake, I would love to see a sequel to this game. Run away! That dragon's dynamite. Oddly though, it looks more like a giant praying mantis type creature than a dragon. And that's another thing you'll notice about this game. All the dragons don't really look like dragons. It's kind of a loose interpretation of what they might look like. You'll notice that in typical JRPG or even most RPG fashions of the 90s and early 2000s, and I don't even know if they still do it nowadays, key points are usually highlighted in different text, so you know that this is something you might want to keep in your memory, is that that's something important. In this case, Celes or Celas is the name of the town that Dart is from. Now, in typical JRPG fashion, kind of harkening off of the success of the Final Fantasies, Legend of Dragoon also features random battles. And I guess I kind of jumped a little bit too fast on that one. Oh my god, where is everybody? The icon above our main character, the not flashing, but the spinning blue triangle here, will denote how close we are to a random battle occurring. So as we walk around various field maps, this triangle will change from blue to yellow to red. The closer to red you are, you can almost be certain you're going to get into a random battle. Yellow is kind of your safe marker, kind of warning you that a random battle is getting close. Red is imminent. The game will utilize the same sort of concept in a lot of different ways. And I'll describe that once we actually get to an actual battle screen to show you why that is the case. So let's just head down here, jump over the fence here, and see what's going on. Alright, so now we have our first real fight. Not really, it's kind of a starter fight, as most games are concerned. Pushovers. But it allows us to get the fine-tuning and elements of the battle system out of the way right up the, right at the beginning. So this is typically what our main battle screens are going to look like. It is turn-based. I believe depending who goes first depends on some sort of speed stat. I'm not exactly 100% certain. It's been like a decade since I've played this game. You can guard. When you guard, you take, of course, 50% physical damage. I believe it does the same for magical. I'm not entirely positive. It also heals you, I believe, 10% of your maximum HP. So that's a pretty nifty kind of deal. We don't really have any items to really mess with. We can't escape from this as it's our first battle. Now, the big thing that you're either going to love this or you're going to hate this if you ever find yourself playing The Legend of Dragoon is something called the addition system, or the use of additions, and it's nothing to do with mathematical stuff. When you choose to attack, each character has a set addition you have that will be automatically displayed. The idea is two squares. There's a main center square and an outer square that will kind of like circled in on the inner square. And just before they connect, you have to press X to time it right. If you time it right, you'll move on with the addition. And the more you do this, the more you can trigger special attacks from your characters. So I've had a little bit of experience practicing. The last time I tried this stream and kind of didn't work out. So the idea is when you attack an enemy, you want to press it just before it happens.
Yes.
In that particular case, I messed up. I was too busy talking. I got distracted. But I guess it serves for a greater purpose, because now if you see, before you attack, you can see these Knights of Sandora. There's two different colored arrows. Why is that? It's their health. It doesn't exactly show us a bar or anything like that. But blue means they're practically at close or near full health. Yellow would be mid-health. Red is they're close to dying. Same kind of concepts that we had to deal with random battles, you'll find in battles. So if you ever feel like how much closer you have to go to defeat an enemy, there you go. And that would be our addition right there. Takes a little bit of getting used to, especially as you learn new additions. You'll have to get used to the rhythm and the timing. But it's not too bad. It's not as bad as some people might think, but it is a weird thing to get used to. Now for defeating these two, we get healing potions, which are not quite what most people might think of when you get a healing item of some sort in a traditional RPG. Most potions heal a set amount of HP. The unique thing about these healing potions is they will heal a maximum of 50% of your max health, whatever that happens to be. And considering you can buy them on the cheap, pretty damn cool. Okay, so now we're charged with rescuing Shauna. Her name's Shauna. Not Shayna, not Shanna. It's Shauna. Okay, so once we gain control of Dart here, we can open up this treasure chest here for Burnout. Now this is something we'll get into a little bit later. It's items that we can utilize to deal magical damage in battle. I can give you one guess as to what Burnout type of element magic attack that's going to be, but I won't spoil the surprise just yet. So here we have what our main menu is going to look like whenever we're doing stuff inside of it. Basically, you can check on the status of our main characters, different types of equipment, yeah, speed. So obviously speed is going to determine who acts first in a given round. A variety of other things: attack, defense, magical attack, magical defense, attack hit percentage, magic hit percentage. I believe AV is I would imagine that would be something like evading. Why it's AV, I'm not quite sure. Items. These are the ones. This is the one where, again, you're going to have an issue if you're used to games that allow you to carry an ungodly amount of items without consequence. The Legend of Dragoon sticks you with a pretty steep, but somewhat fair, 32 max item limit for your inventory. But here's the kicker. See, we have 4 healing potions here. They each take up 1 spot out of that 32 available inventory space. So they don't stack. And that means item inventory management is kind of crucial so that you have what you need at any given time. And if you have it to the max, you won't be able to pick up anything. And that's kind of sad. But again, this is not something that kind of breaks the game. So if you can get through it, you'll be fine. This just determines what stuff we can arm ourselves with. It's sort of like the equip menu. Additions. This is the one that we want to kind of pay attention to. Not even though there's 7 separate rows here, not every character that we encounter and acquire on our party will have 7 separate additions to choose from. Currently, we only have double slash. The ones in red will illustrate which one you currently have equipped, which is the one that will trigger whenever you attack physically in battle. Each addition has a maximum level of 5. The number of additions under the add column is how many times you have to successfully complete that spinning encircling square in order to successfully trigger the next one and the next one, and then to pull off the special move. SP is something we don't actually have use of just yet. It's sort of like, I would call it sort of like our magic gauge. Each time you successfully pull off an addition, a specific value gets added to that, and that's how we'll do magic later on once we get some of it. Damage percentage is, of course, how much damage you do when you pull off the thing versus a normal attack. And you'll notice under next level you have 2 out of 20. This tells you how many times you've currently used this addition successfully and how many times you must use it to reach the next level. All of these additions you want to use predominantly 80 out of 80 times. I believe the max you can hit is 99, but after you've hit 80, they don't gain any more benefits, they don't gain any more levels. 80 out of 80 is what you want to aim for. And of course, that's kind of the whole concept here. I guess the only other thing I kind of really want to talk about is you'll see at the very bottom this count for Stardust. It's sort of like a running side quest throughout the game. I will be going through and illustrating with I have some notes on my stream where each and every single one is as we come across them. That way, if you're following along and you want to go and replicate the results by playing the game yourself, you'll know where they are and you can get the benefits and the rewards for those Stardust very early on. But that's pretty much all we need to worry about. Obviously, this big glowing orb thing here is a save point. As you can see, I played about an hour the first time, then realized, well, crap, this game is not nice about how it handles things. I always keep staggered saves. And this is a prime example of something that I can illustrate as the problem with the black bars. So for instance, right now, if I were to go ahead and modify what I have currently modified on here, and go ahead and remove the modifications I made, you can see how much we've actually just gained back. But you can see how ridiculous this looks in the main menu, with a black bar on one side being much wider than the one on the other. And this would be fine if the game didn't do this weird thing where in the world map, overworld map screens, it looks just like this. Perfectly fine with the correct width on both sides with the black bars. As well as in battle, you can't tell the difference either. It's perfectly centered right on both sides. But in the main menus, like the title screen, saving menus, the party menu, and in the field maps, this is not the case. It goes right back to the ridiculously stupid, very, very, very small, disproportionate black bars, and I don't like that. So we may lose a little bit of stuff by cropping it just that small side, but it has to be done, because the only other alternative is to lose way more picture than that. But anyways, we've done all we can here. Move on to the next screen. You'll notice there's some arrows. The green arrows denote different areas. I believe blue and yellow will denote various shops and other points of interest. So again, a lot of color-based icons to tell you what you're looking at. Here comes the very first boss fight already. Alright, so basically, anytime unfortunately you can't pause in battle, I wish you could. But since it's turn-based and we haven't entered any commands, we can just go ahead and sit here for as long as we want to take to kind of go over how, throughout my stream, how I'm going to handle these boss battles. This is the commander. He's flanked by 2 Knights of Sindora. I don't know if the exact HP values I have listed are exact or if they're more guesstimates. Each knight has about 5 HP. The commander himself has 20. We'll get 20 points of experience for the commander and 20 gold from him, as well as a few items. I believe a burnout and 2 healing potions, if I remember from the first time I tried this.
Yes! Double lash! One! Here! Yes! Double lash! Here! Yes! Double lash!
Alright, here is... oh, he's healing himself. I thought he was going to use one of the items. He does have the
Yes!
burnout item that he can use against us. He deals a little bit of damage, but nothing too bad. But we should kill him after this.
Yes! Double lash!
And since we nailed the addition every single time, we've gained quite a few uses already. We're probably, yeah, 2 healing potions and a burnout. Now we just gained a new addition, Volcano, and as soon as we get an opportunity to, I'll kind of show you the difference between that and Double Slash, and why we're not going to start using Volcano right off the bat just because we have it.